Greetings, my little GGs. It's salad time again. Now we did a recently we recently did a salad, but we're going to do another one. Because it's a Friday night, and the wife will not mention why. She'll get in trouble. The wife likes something light to eat on a Friday night prior to Saturday morning, but we won't go there. So we'll have another salad. And this one is courtesy of the Airy Bikers, Dave and Si. This is from their, I think it's their best of, but you will find it in one of the other books. But I've got this from the best of books. This is their Burrata, Parma ham and peach salad. And it's quite simple. And I should probably make it seem like it tastes. I will probably make it seem like it takes longer than it should do. But who gives a shit? Okay. So, the Airy Bikers, hence the hair, the mic. Oh, that's the only link in it. And their recipe, Burrata, Parma ham and peach salad. So I've mentioned 3 key ingredients: Burrata, Parma ham and peaches. If you don't know what those 3 are, you might not know what one of them is properly. You're going to find out anyway, because I'm going to tell you. But it also includes about half a red onion. It's a smallish one, might use a little bit more than half. Some basil leaves and some rocket. And you'll want a bit of olive oil, you want some balsamic vinegar, balsamic, and some salt and pepper. But to start with, I've got a little dish there with cold water in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by making some slices of onion. A red onion is best, okay. We just want to peel this and we're going to soak it. Now I don't quite know why they're soaking it, but I suspect it's partly, possibly, actually I need to take a little bit more of it. Get off that bloody membrane there. Possibly partly to get rid of that sort of, you make me cry a bit, but I don't know, I might be wrong. So we take a little pinch of salt and we add that to that water, and then not an awful lot actually of work goes into this. I'm going to need my knife to do my peaches, but other than that we don't really need to do much. And so what we do with these onion slices is, which I wonder if it, being it's salt water, osmosis and all that, I wonder if it's partly to perhaps draw out some moisture out of the onions, because that's what's going to happen. It's salt water. Now if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you've obviously weren't paying attention during your science lessons. Ooh, well, I wasn't paying attention then, I'll try to slice my finger off. Okay, and if any of my ex-pupils tell me they don't know what they're talking about, because you never bloody listened when I talked to you. You gits. Ooh, I said about half onion, I've just realised I've gone a bit overboard, but never mind. So that's going to go in there, and we're just going to set that to one side, like I say, for about half an hour. Now I've rinsed my rocket. That's it really. So what you're going to need next, once I've cleared this away, is some sort of griddle, because we're going to do our peaches. So here we have a nice, lovely, slightly fluffy baby's bottom. No, it isn't, it's a peach. Okay, now, I said to you, if you didn't know what a peach was, you're going to find out. And if you do know what a peach is, you're still going to find out. So I've got 3 reasonable sized peaches here. Now, peaches come from China originally. Wait, I can't bleeding floor, you little shit. Now, where's my slip? Okay, so all I'm doing is I'm destoning these at the minute. Oh, don't quite work like an avocado, does it? Never mind, I know I'm getting around that. So like I say, it was first cultivated, domesticated in China. Okay, it belongs to the Prunus persica, and it's a deciduous fruit. Deciduous. Oh, I don't know. Probably blunting me a bloody knife doing that. I don't know. But it's believed it could date back 6,000 BC. And your typical peach is like I just showed you. Now, I wouldn't exactly say it's hairy or fluffy, but it has that slight texture, doesn't it? If you've ever felt a print. You do get a smooth version. They're called nectarines. A nectarine is essentially a peach. Exactly the same, but quite often you'll see it categorised if it's a completely different fruit. It's basically a non-hairy peach. Now, what we want to do with these peaches is cut them into quarters. I was thinking I've got to cut each piece in a quarter, but of course I haven't. All I've got to do is cut each piece into half. Okay. And this is where I'm going to be able to get my stone out. So, my peach, been around a long time. It's still probably mainly cultivated in China, but I might have got that wrong. I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to chop out that little bit where the top of the stone was. Okay, which is that bit pull out. So that's your peach, but your peach actually is highly prized in China. Peach blossoms are highly prized, and also there's this belief that that one don't want to come out. We'll in a minute. That it leads to longevity. The god of longevity in China. Well, that stone don't want to come out. You little git. He holds a peach in, can't remember if it's left or right hand, but one of them. But also they often will use wands or peach rods, put them over doorways, and they're meant to sort of protect them from evil, spectral evils. New Year's Eve, magistrates, I don't know why particularly magistrates, perhaps it's because they were a bit worried about some of the things they'd done. They had peach wood branches, they go out and chop down peach wood branches. That might upset a peach tree, but they didn't worry about that. And they put them over their doors again to protect against evil influences. And the door gods, whoever the door gods are, I don't know, sorry if I'm offending someone, something to do with China, they apparently would use peach wood in their doors during the Hun, whatever that is. And people would sometimes plant peach trees. Anyway, before I do that, I need to clean up and tell you a bit more. Okay, basically, peaches, good fortune, or they're certainly going to be good eating. You need a griddle pan, preferably something obviously like a griddle pan, because we want to get them nice char lines on it. So I'm just going to put that on, and we want to get that on a nice high heat. Do not touch the fucking handles, because I can fuck out of it. And then we're going to just, now it'll probably have been better if I'd have done this in a bigger bowl. I'm just going to lightly drizzle on some olive oil, okay, and then we're going to, whoops, that was a bit more than a minute, but never mind. We're going to get them on there when they're nice and hot. The idea being, we want to get some nice char lines on it, if you like. Okay. Now we're not trying to cook them all through, but we just want to get Whew, that was a good catch. I'm going to have to wash up now. But like I say, I just want some nice good char lines on it. Oh, shit, I remember that. Good luck, I was here to catch you, you supposedly good luck thing. Oh, well, I did catch it. Perhaps it does bring good luck. Hang on, I'm going to go and get a lottery ticket. I think that might be up to heat, so... Oh, yeah. We're now just going to place the cut surfaces onto the griddle. Okay, we're only interested... I almost touched that pan then. We're only interested in the cut surface. Okay. And like I say, what we want to do is just get a little bit of charring on that peach. Okay. We're not interested in cooking it through. And I want some more olive oil in a minute. I'm almost out of olive oil, hence the reason I've got another bottle there. But, like I say, I wonder if I use my pasta queen or forceps, freezers or whatever. Whether it'll work with these, might be too slippery and a bit too big. But use the pasta queen. Use this for pasta. I'm not making pasta. I do pasta queen cherry bited. But I just had to get that reference in. Because I know the wife misses the pasta queen. Now, this wine's going down too low. Looking out, the wife may be late starting. Tried to start the wine before I started dinner. So it's the wife's fault. Anyway, what we want to do is, like I say, just char these a bit. There we go. Oh no, they're not there yet. I'm going to get extra lines on them now. You're going to want some plates to serve. Okay? And then we're going to be adding, after we've added all these, some Parma ham. What's Parma ham? Prosciutto. So then why is it called Parma ham? Well, wait a minute, just stepping away from the Parma ham in a minute. I've just laid out a bed of the freshly washed rocket. Okay, that's our base salad or base omelette. So, Parma ham, prosciutto. Right, I think that looks like that might be done there. So I'm just turning these peaches with like forceps. Okay, and like I say, we're only interested in the cut side. So stop keep rolling over the other way, you little shit. Okay. Got a nice bit of char in the middle there, not so much around the outside. So prosciutto is an Italian product. So that's trying to come off. It's primarily, therefore, an Italian product. Little tip for you. The lines going that way. Put your products that way, so the lines go that way. So prosciutto is basically made from pig. However, it can be made from boar, as in like a pig. It's a non-cooked product. It's not smoked. It's a dry cured ham. Usually served extremely thinly sliced. Quite often if you go anywhere, Spain, Italy, you know, where they do those sort of dry cured hams, they slice off thin slices for you. Supermarket, they tend to do it, and then they conveniently separate it with you, because it's a bastard, it sticks together with some plastic sheets. But there you go. So you can see how thin it is, you can sort of see through it almost. That's not. But it is a dry cured ham. Okay, but there's quite a lot of variation over Italy. Hence you get different types of prosciutto. And some of the best ones are the ones from the region that lends its name to Parma ham. Prosciutto Parma, or something like that, anyway. Prosciutto di Parma Romano. There's another one, prosciutto di San Daniele, I think. But anyway, we're having the Parma ham. It's made from a hind leg or thigh, like I say, with a pig or a boar. And prosciutto basically means that bit. Parma means the region it came from. Alright? It can take up to 2 years to make it properly. Depends on the size of the ham. So, I've got my basil, I've got them doing. Now, what I'm going to do in a minute, I'm going to turn the heat off of that, and we're just going to let that cool slightly. You spit at me, you bastard. So I've done 1 plate of the Parma ham. Okay, so all I'm doing is I'm taking that Parma ham, sort of, I've gone a bit overboard to be honest with Parma ham, but who gives a shit? So I'm actually using probably twice the amount of Parma ham that you actually should use. But then again, who says what you should use? Use what you want, innit? So I'm just sort of, don't you go in there, you little bugger, don't waste that. We're just tearing it up roughly in half. Okay, ooh, there's a bit left there. Oh, look at that. And just laying that on top of the leaves. You can toss it all through, do what you really like. Doesn't really matter, does it? Okay, little bits on there, don't need a little bit on there. Waste not, want that. Okay, so that's given us, let me just move that over there. Next thing we want is that red onion, which I've drained, okay, and you just want to sprinkle some of that, just separating the rings as I go. So burrata. What's burrata? Well, burrata, if you didn't know, is a cheese. It's essentially mozzarella. It's an Italian cheese made from Italian cow milk. Let me just finish that one. Okay, made from Italian cow milk. Sometimes it's used buffalo milk, but presumably Italian buffalo. Okay. I used a bit more than I should have done otherwise. I said to you about half of that red onion, but who cares? Okay, so that's that on there. So burrata is a form of mozzarella. It's essentially mozzarella plus. Okay, and this is probably a good example. This one, well, hang on, I'm not sure I can get this out without breaking this. It's quite delicate. It looks like a little parcel with a little bit on top here. This one, if you look at that one, it's even more pronounced, because what it is mozzarella cheese with a soft centre. A bit like me, really. It's the traditional mozzarella cheese, but essentially they like form it into a disc and they put inside it some mozzarella type cheese, stracciatella, essentially strands of mozzarella really, mixed with double cream. You're not listening to this bit, right? That's mixed together, and then they sort of like they've done here, they pinch the top together. So inside there is like this creamy, soft centered mozzarella. Okay. Now, the airy markers basically said 1 per 2 people. Or you could do it per 4 if you want to make this as a starter. We're doing it as a main for 2 people. Okay, so essentially all we're doing is we're just breaking this up over the top, and all I'm doing now is just putting these slightly cool, well, coolish peach quarters on top. Okay. You don't want any more, you little shit. Now, we're now going to just drizzle over a little bit of olive oil over each one, followed by some balsamic, a little drizzle of balsamic vinegar, although this one don't really want to pour quite like the oil does. So I said to you about burrata. Some evidence suggests it might have been made from about 1900, but then other evidence suggests it might have been more like 1950s. But either way, they still will go for the same sort of family. Actually, I don't need that extra olive oil now. Put more on if I wanted, but I don't. Which was the Bianchino brothers from Murgia in Puglia or something like that, I don't know. So I'm just going to give it a light seasoning of salt. Okay. Pepper. Ooh. Yeah, fell in it. Disgusting. Okay, some lightly ground black pepper, and then we've got some fresh parsley leaves. I'm just going to sort of roughly shred some of them. It's about a handful or so, but up to you. There we go. So let's have a little bit of a taster. Not quite sure how I'm going to get in here when I'm trying to hold it one-handed. So a bit of cheese, a bit of peach. Go for a cheese, bit of onion. Well, that's basil. I haven't got any rocket in there yet. Oh, I'm just getting more and more bloody cheese. Oh well. There was a lot of cheese in that mouthful. A bit of peach. Got the peach. Sweetness of the peach. Crunchiness of the onion. Getting the balsamic through with that one. Haven't had any meat yet, but I've got a bit of saltiness, but I think that's from the salt I put in it. But essentially, oh, there's some rocket under there. Let's get rocket. Rocket tends to have a bit of a, almost like bitter taste to it. But I've got a bit of Parmesan. Dip into that cheese a little bit. One must be proper. But that is a nice, refreshing, summer salad, if you like. Courtesy of Silent Dave, Hairy Bikers, best of or whatever. Don't know what book it was in originally. But cheers, guys. Yet another perfect meal. Like I said, you can have that as a starter. Obviously not as much of that. Or as a main. Burrata, Parma ham and grilled peach salad.